Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the Steam Machine because here at the channel we're extremely excited about it. But I do feel like there is some important factors that Valve needs to get right. It needs to have some sort of big flashy game, some sort of new Valve exclusive. I don't care if it's Portal 3, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, there needs to be a 3 on that box. But also when it comes out, very, very crucial, but most importantly, the price. I feel like the hardest part of getting into a new hardware space is being competitive, being able to say, hey, here's our thing that's better, cheaper, and available now. Valve, I think, is extremely smart. I have been very much won over to their hardware foray because of the Steam Deck. I bought the Steam Deck about a year after it came out, and honestly, I got it on sale. This thing completely melted my brain. I filled it with emulators, the fact that it's got such good graphics, automatic optimization, the fact that this thing is as cheap as it is, this is such a W. So the idea of the Steam Machine being 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck, but maybe around the same price, I'm excited about the Steam Deck. But the discussion today is that what if it costs $800 to $1,000 for the Steam Machine? If it's that much, I have very low expectations, but let's break it down. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, there's been a lot of leakers and stuff saying that maybe today, tomorrow, who knows? Before the end of the year, we're possibly going to see the reveal of Half-Life 3. Now, part of the talk is that they're doing this finally. Apparently, they've wanted to do Half-Life 3 for a very long time, but it just didn't really feel like an appropriate era for it. It sounds like basically Valve finally went, all right, if we're releasing hardware, if we need extra cool stuff to grab attention, let's say Half-Life 3, play it on the Steam Machine, right? But here's the quote that has people very much tearing their hair out. So Linus Tech Tips had a chance to go and play the Steam Machine and break it down, talking about the specs, the powers and stuff. And while he was talking to the developers, at one point he kicked around the idea of how much the price will be. Linus Tech Tips says he's disappointed the upcoming Steam Machine may not be priced like a console. Valve asked what I meant by console price. I said like $500. Nobody said anything, but the energy in the room wasn't great. This happens occasionally where if you say a number and it is way lower than their marketing team has in mind or their dev team, if this thing doesn't cost around $500, I am extremely concerned. You see, here's my thing. $500 is already a decent chunk of change. I do think that more than that, a lot of times people will just build a PC. Part of the like fun, part of the interest of PC gaming is that you get to build a completely custom machine that nobody else in the world has, right? Your computer case with the hottest waifu, your crazy RGB flashing graphics cards. But it's also the fact that it's modular. For roughly the price of a PS5 Pro and a fancy controller, you can a lot of times set up a PC and then upgrade it bit by bit, putting in more RAM, a better drive, everything like that, right? Selling a system, I feel like making it as cheap as possible is such an important first step. They have also said this is not going to be a Blockbuster style device. It's not going to be, it's not going to be like Best Buy. It's not going to be at Walmart. They have said, starting out at least, it will only be sold on the Steam store, which is currently, that's the only way to buy the Steam Deck. And I just feel like that, again, seems to me, at least, like a very big mistake. Do you know the Steam Deck, the rough numbers is that the Steam Deck has sold about 3 million units. 3 to 5, which after this many years is so crazy low. That's less than like a month of PlayStation 5s, right? But look at these replies. Company heads, when someone suggests making a product affordable, look at that. If they go for 700 or something, they're misplacing the product. PC gamers have a PC. Many already have a laptop that they play with their PC on a TV. Console gamers are not going to convert at a price range because it's not familiar. So everybody is basically breaking this down. Don't say damn when you hear the price. There is a 0% chance of me buying this product if it's more than $500. I am seeing this literally. I'm going to go through a ton of takes of this because people are like, look, the success of the Steam Machine heavily relies on that price point. If it goes out of the console price range into the low-end PC price range, then most people would rather get a PC. And I feel like I'm of two minds about this, which is that I am still in that camp where I am predominantly a console gamer. And the big part of the appeal of consoles to me is just how idiot-proof it is. I like the fact that when I turn on my console, it automatically updates the controllers. There's no drivers. There's no plugins that could be misaligned. I do like the fact that whether it is my Nintendo Switch, my Xbox Series X, my PS5, I like the fact that I boot it up and it instantly works completely every single time, right? That's awesome. I think even that, doing that for a PC version of it, here's the Steam Machine. It's got an automatic operating system. It's got all the updates automatically done. Whatever controller you plug in, it automatically sees it. I do think that hybrid will be done right. But if you price it more expensive than my console, I know most people are going to say, okay, the PS5 does this automatically, and it's got Ghost of Yotei and maybe another Astrobot someday, or the Steam Machine, which does have my current Steam library. I do think more and more people, if this thing is way more expensive than a PS5, they're just going to go for the PS5. At least that's my thought, right? This thing is going to be $1,000. This is a number I am seeing people kick around a lot. Because ever since we saw the micro PC, what was it called? The ROG Ally X. The fact that Xbox made a handheld, called it a handheld, and then when it came out, it was basically just a micro PC that was $1,000. A lot of people now realize, oh, they could price stuff that high. I just didn't even realize that $1,000 could be their ceiling until this. If this thing costs even more than like $800, I just think it's going to be catastrophic, right? Hope it's not too bad, but it would be funny seeing all those Valve and Steam Machine hype posts the moment they see it's $800 to $1,000. I do love this meme of Grandpa Simpson walking out. But here's my thing, is that part of the pushback, part of the curiosity, I feel like at times, part of the hype around the Steam Deck is how much you can do with it. The Steam Deck is so customizable, so hackable, so reprogrammable that I feel like there will always be a very big, very diehard fan base for the Steam Machine at whatever price point. But my thing is that there's a lot of data that casual consumers, casual gamers are a huge chunk of the entire industry. People just playing Fortnite, people just playing World of Warcraft with their bros 2 nights a week, you know. That is a huge chunk of the entire gaming industry. The people that just buy Madden and Call of Duty and nothing else. If the Steam Machine starts to price those people out, or if it's not really able to reach out to those further reaches of gaming, I just feel like it's not going to be a competitor, and that's what I want the most. Sony needs competition. Sony, I do feel like when they can get away with being lazy, they love to be lazy. And if this thing can be as cheap as possible, that to me would be the biggest W. Now, a lot of people are talking about the fact that the big choking point of it right now is that it's 8 gigabytes of VRAM. It's pretty widely agreed upon that it's going to be less powerful than a PS5, and they still want to charge over $500 for it. Charging more for a system that's more powerful for cheaper just seems like a very easily avoidable mistake. Given reports that the Steam Machine is weaker than a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, I thought Valve might be aiming to price it similarly. If it's noticeably more expensive, it's likely going to be even more niche than anticipated, especially when the next Xbox and PlayStation 6 aren't fall off, but GTA 6 is console first. Here's my train of thought. I think this needs to be as cheap as it can possibly get. If this thing costs $500, comes with a controller, or more awesomely, if this thing comes out, it's $400, comes with a controller, I think this thing is going to obliterate the market. I think this thing has the potential to take over. The question is Valve willing to sell it at a deep loss? Are they willing to take a deep upfront loss if it means entering the console space like a nuclear bomb? These are just my 2 cents, but the cheaper the better. I don't just say that as a person that really wants everybody to be able to buy everything. It's, to me, cheaper is better in this case. I mean that as a means of survival. But these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about the idea of the Steam Machine? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And hopefully we see, the Half-Life 3 trailer this week. I'm definitely ready for it.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.